Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mr. Crane here, and today will be a continuation of our Learn Tarot series. And because there was a special request, we're going to be working on the Pentacles. Okay, so the Pentacles is anything that is material, anything that concerns the material world, the material realm, and anything tangible. If you can touch it, then it's material, then it falls within the sort of tangible realm. If you can manifest it and physically see it with your eyes, it is a pentacle. So this concerns jobs, money, finances, houses, moving houses, anything that is associated with material well-being and health is in the pentacles. That is what the pentacles are, okay? So before we jump into the cards, I want to first explain to you what it is that you're looking at when you see this coin here. So you see the coin, right? And I'm saying coin because pentacles can also be called coins in some deck, right? Inside the pentacle is a pentagram, which is the star. So for this particular video, because there are tons of explanations of what a pentagram can represent, but for the most part, a pentagram is kind of like a symbol of life because it symbolizes everything in it, right? So the tip of a pentagram, the top point of the star, is a symbol for spirit or God. And then the other 4 points of a pentagram are the elements. So fire, water, air, earth. The idea is when you work with this symbol in your magic or your manifestation, you take all of the elements, you mix it with a little bit of spirit, and the idea is that you pull whatever you want that's up there down here into the material world. That is why you see this symbol used in anything magical, rituals, or anything like that. It's as above, so below. So you take it from up there and you pull it down and you bring it down here. That is what this symbol actually is, which is why it is used in this sense as a pinnacle, okay? So here we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Once again, it is a situation where a hand is coming out of a cloud, presenting you with a gift. The gift is always a form of opportunity, and because this is the element of earth, right? This is a sign that it is. So the pentacles represent earth, right? It is any opportunity that concerns that element or that energy. In this case, again, money, finances, jobs, promotions, houses, moving, anything like that. And then if you look all the way at the back of the card, you'll see like there's this path in this gate, and you walk down there as you accept this gift that's being offered to you in the form of a pentacle through this gate, and it begins a new journey, but this time a journey of anything that's earthly or earthbound, okay? The Ace. Now, we've got the Two of Pentacles, and if you look here, you can see that it almost looks like maybe he's juggling or he's balancing something. There is a scale-like effect here, right? Of him trying to keep a bunch of things in the air. If you also look at the back of the card, you will see water, but the waves are huge. The ships are kind of on the waves, having a little bit of a tough time here. This is suggesting that there is a level of discomfort that's coming when in regards to the managing of something material. Usually money is when you see this card comes up. It's the idea of balancing material responsibilities, usually in the form of money. And you can also see that he's standing on one foot, which kind of intensifies that need to keep everything in the air, okay? So when that settles, when the water settles and the ships are back to doing their calm ship thing, right? We move on to the Three of Pentacles. So if you look here, you see a guy that's standing on the bench. It kind of looks like he's nailing something or that he's holding something. It can be a sculpture, but he's working on something. And you can see that he's having a conversation with two people, right? And that one of those people have a piece of paper in their hand. This piece of paper can be a contract, it can be an agreement. Essentially what is happening in this card is that this person has been noticed for the work that they're doing, right? For the hard work that they're doing, for the skill that they exercise while doing this work. And those two people want to talk to him about it. It could be suggesting that maybe those two people want to hire him. Maybe they want to create an agreement with him to do work for them or whatever. Maybe it's a contract to compensate him monetarily. Regardless, it is a card where somebody is being recognized for the hard work and skill that they're doing, right? Now, they can be actively being rewarded for that, which can be interpreted through the piece of paper or the contract or the agreement that you see one holding, or they can simply be discussing the terms of something. But it is a card of hard work where people are recognizing what someone is actually doing. So let's assume that they are doing hard work and it is absolutely flawless, okay? And that this skill gets them to a place of recognition where they are materially healthy. They've got a really good overall material health, right? You end up at this point, which is the Four of Pentacles. So in the background, you see there's a lot of buildings. I have said in previous videos that buildings are a sign of success, usually material and physical successes. When it comes to that, think of being in a really big city and the skyscrapers that you see when you're walking down the street. And then think about the jobs that are usually in those type of skyscrapers and the kind of people that hold those jobs, okay? So if you look at this particular card, you can see that there is a city behind him. You can see that he's sitting down, he's guarding Four of Pentacles, and that he also has a crown, right? Now notice the crown because he's not in the court cards. This is not a court card, right? So ask yourself why would someone have a crown if they are not part of the royal family, okay? This crown is a symbol of the fact that he has achieved moderate success, moderate monetary health or well-being, right? And the pentacles that are around him are a symbolization of that. Now look at where the pentacles are placed. You have one that's sitting on top of the crown, right? Two at his feet that he's stepping on so they can't roll away, right? Or someone can't take them. And then there's one really important one that he's guarding that is across his chest. So that is your heart chakra. So this is really important in the sense that he's guarding his material well-being, and the fact that he's holding it close to his chest is showing that it's important to him and that he's worried about losing it. Almost to the point where he's holding it so tightly that he's forgotten how to give and maybe has only gotten into the idea of taking. There is a hint of stubbornness that's there, but there's also this fear or worry of material loss or feeling like he needs to do whatever is possible in order to maintain sort of the material successes that he has accomplished up until this point. So let's say he does not do a good job of maintaining that. We end up with the Five of Pentacles. So if you look at this one, this guy right here in the blue kind of looks like the guy that we just saw in the Four of Pentacles. You got two people here who are in rags. They don't have any shoes on. One of them has got crutches. It is snowing, right? So it's cold out. It's nighttime, which means there's no sun there to illuminate their path. These people have fallen on really tough times in the material world. Probably really tough times money-wise. Maybe they've lost their job. Just really tough material things, right? They do not have a good material well-being. But the thing about this card that I find really interesting is that if you look at the pentacles are actually inside a stained glass window, which is presumably a church. And if you look at how they're arranged like a tree, which presumably can be the tree of life. So the idea is here that, okay, you're down on your luck, but there's always somewhere that you can go to ask for help. Where is your refuge? Who can you ask? Who would help you? Where can you go? There's an idea that even when you feel that there's nowhere else for you to go, that there's probably still one last option, even though you may not want to take it, that's your business, not mine, but there's still something there. The light may not be coming from the sun or the illumination of the moon, but it is coming from a church, okay? So it's there, it exists. So let's say you decide to humble yourself, you put that ego to the side a little bit, then you come up with the Six of Pentacles. Now this can be read two ways. So you can interpret yourself right there, again, the guy in the blue, as someone that has decided to ask for help. And so you're being given help. Because you see the guy in the red is holding a scale. The idea here is that you're trying to figure out this give and take relationship, how much to give, how much to take. So depending on the reading and kind of what's happening here, you can interpret yourself as being in either the blue or the yellow, receiving, or the need to receive, or you can interpret yourself as being the one in the red, giving, or the need to give, right? Now we have the Seven of Pentacles here. So it is a guy in a garden, right? Looking at his harvest. Now, depending on the reading and how you feel about his facial expressions, because I've honestly have heard this go two ways, either he is contemplating his harvest for that season, or if you really want to read into his expression, he is disappointed with the harvest of that season. So it just depends on how you want to read it. But the idea being the harvest is, if you've ever heard of that saying, you reap what you sow, right? All of the work that you've put in, all the hard work that you have put into the material worlds, you're evaluating it at this point when you get the Seven of Pentacles. What is it to you? Is it a good harvest? Is it a good bounty? Are you disappointed in it? Are there some tweaks that you want to make? Is it not as fruitful as you originally thought that it would be? And let's say it's a situation where maybe it's not as fruitful as you originally thought it would be. You would get to the Eight of Pentacles. So you have a guy here sitting at a workbench and he is banging out some more pentacles, right? This is a hard work card. It's a card of diligence, of getting back to work, of taking whatever you're skilled at doing and perfecting what it is that you're skilled at doing. So if you're reading it like a story, you can see it as the Seven of Pentacles being a situation of you did all of this hard work, and maybe it didn't manifest in the way that you initially thought that it could manifest. And so you go, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's do this again, right? Or let me make some tweaks. This is what this is. It's you're being diligent. Now, all the things you're doing, you're perfecting it. You're working harder at it. You're being extra diligent in the process. And once you do all of that, eventually, right, you'll have the ability to start manifesting things in the way you would like to. So here we got the Nine of Pentacles. But the thing that I love the most about this card is if you look at the background, you've got all of these grapes here, which is always a symbol of abundance. If you see grapes anywhere when you're dealing with spirituality, it is always a symbol of abundance, of blessings. And if you look, you can see it's a huge, huge garden that everything that's in the garden are all vines, right? And then the pentacles are at the bottom here growing on the vines like grapes. So the idea is that you are coming into a place in life where blessings are manifesting, blessings are growing on vines, blessings are starting to ripen, and you're at the ability where you can pick them. And it's a very sort of comfortable time in life, material-wise. There's a very good material health that's happening when you get this card. And then when you get to the point where you have found a way of stabilizing that energy, right? You end up with the 10 of Pentacles. And so here now you see a family, you see kids that are playing, you see the arch all the way in the back. And you can read that as a lot of ways. You can read it as your arch to your castle. You can read it as the arch to the beginning of a village. I mean, you can read it either way, but when you do see arches, it's usually representing sort of the beginning of a journey and the end of a journey, right? So in the very first card that I showed you, the Ace of Pentacles, I pointed out the arch all the way in the back, and I said to you that that's kind of beginning this journey of material well-being. Well, if you look at it here, you'll see that the people in this card would be older versions of yourself, and that they have approached that arch. So that whole journey that they've went down in terms of material well-being and all that encompasses that, they have now reached the arch and they're about to cross through it, but they're reaching the arch as a family, as with children. And if you look right there, you'll see that there are some dogs there. Depending on how creative you want to get with your interpretation, you can interpret one of the dogs as being with the first dog that's with you in the full card when you take that leap of faith. So it depends on how you feel like you need to read it based on the reading. And you will find that as you read for people, different parts of the card will pop out because it'll mean different things. But there's also another thing here where you can see that there is also an older gentleman. So you can interpret that as being maybe a grandparent or a grandfather figure. So there's a legacy that has been created and a legacy that's happened here. And then there's also some grapes, which again is a symbol of abundance. So that is cards 1 through 10 for the Pentacles. And again, Pentacles is just material well-being, material health, anything that you can actually touch with your hands, and the progression of the journey with that and the ups and the downs that stem from that. So the next video will be about the court family for Pentacles, and stay tuned for that. So as always, guys, if you like what you see, subscribe to this channel. I really hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys soon.